Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to my anime review. Today we're looking at the final episode of Kokkoku, so episode 12. You know, the last few episodes haven't been that great for Kokkoku. It's definitely been very strange here and there, and also, for the most part, has been, I want to say, something that's been scaring me for the last episode. Luckily, though, episode 12 was solid. I actually think Kokkoku ended on a solid note that it saved the series a little bit. So yeah, we continue off where, Yuri realizes that she has to raise this kid up, and, they stay together. The grandfather and Yuri stay together for a little while. Everyone else she expunges outside from the place. But the thing is that in the world of stasis, they are living together, trying to raise this child up. And I think it was nice because, Jiri had to learn some things about how to raise a kid. She had ideas, but at the same time, the grandfather was there to kind of supervise her. And the grandfather at one point realized that her best bet to get out would be if he starts learning how to control his own power. But before he could actually do that, Yuri expunged him out. And so Yuri was left alone with the baby inside. The thing is like a decent amount of time passed. And, Yuri was raising this kid up by herself. The thing was that she started realizing that it was getting harder and harder for her to do it. And the hesitation she started having about like when to feed him, when not to feed him, started weighing heavily on her. So she finally expunged him out when she felt his body would have survived it. Because think about it for a second, it makes sense. If she would have expunged him right away and thrown him out of the world of stasis, that could have killed him. Because the fact that it does put some toll on your body, as we see from the reactions of various characters. So a newborn being hit with that force probably would have died instantly, to be honest with you. So she was smart enough to wait till he at least got it looks like about a year old, I want to say roughly. And then from there, Yuri was now alone in the world of stasis by herself, and it was, at first I think she was getting used to it and trying her best to make every day somewhat fun and enjoyable. But of course, you're by yourself in a world. There was like one creature running around, one of the heralds, but that was it for the most part. And you can see that it was starting to affect her pretty much to the point that, of course, she actually started becoming a herald herself. Luckily, she was saved in two forms. One, when she became a handler, she went to a person and brought them to the world of stasis. But she didn't bring just anyone into the world of stasis. She brought the person we saw in the very first episode. You know that girl with the blonde hair? Yeah, I guarantee most of you forgot who that was because she was so random. But the very first girl that we saw going into the world of stasis was this blonde hair girl. So it was a full circle. Like that was actually the end of the series right there. But she brought that girl in. We find out that she's the true founder of stasis. She's the one who understood, or excuse me, well, not the founder of stasis, but the founder of the cult that they had. She's the one who understood everything about the stone because she made the stone. And also, she understood how she was able to control her power. So she could control, like semi-little things. So she could actually put fire. She could start fire in the world of stasis, which we saw was not possible. And she's able to even control her age. So apparently she's very old. But she doesn't look like she's maybe more than 30 years old, at best. And she talked about how, like, her husband was seen as the founder of the group, but then at one point goes, kind of a little bit crazy because he wants to start trying to figure out how to gain her power level, and he would not age as much, but unfortunately was still aging and stuff like that. So he went a little power hungry, but we saw that it was interesting because this girl was like, yeah, once you get used to the powers, you could control them pretty much at random. She goes, I'm gonna stay here, so you can go out and I'll bring you back. And she's like, wait, what? And Yuri was brought back into the world, so that was pretty cool. I mean, it was a little anticlimactic in a sense, but also at the same time, it was kind of interesting. I liked the little twist they had at that. And for the most part, we see Yuri with the family. Everything's back together. We see that the father is hanging out with the kids more often. We see the brother have his life now. He's actually got a job. And we can see that everyone else, for the most part, is doing well. And what was really nice, I think the reunion was nice, that whole scene before that. But that was nice. And even more so, the fact that Yuri decided to raise this kid, that was, I think, also very sweet. Because think about it. Maybe this kid, who was originally the founder of the group, the cult and all that, what was it? I forget, Sagawa. Sagawa now as a baby and has a new chance of life, and he thinks that's his mother. So, hey, at least maybe he'll have a happier a happier and healthier lifestyle versus his one that he was in that cult. So that's pretty cool. So, in a way, he got his own, kind of, I want to say, second chance at life. And I think that's very rare for a show, but that's pretty cool. Overall, Kokkoku has definitely been something I very much enjoyed. I loved Kokkoku up to maybe the last couple episodes where the series started falling downhill a little bit for me. But, the last episode pulled it back. I think it saved it a lot of ways. And I think the show has been pretty good, especially for a studio's first work. I've seen plenty of studios do their first work. Like, for example, I always mention it, but Izetta was terrible. And it was, like, it had nice animation, don't get me wrong, but the story and everything else was just pure garbage with that show. So I'm happy that when a studio does their first thing, it comes out like Kokkoku, because, I mean, this is pretty solid. It was a good story, had some weak parts here and there. The animation was solid. I liked how it wasn't atypical animation, so it looked like had its own feel to it. I love the world that we had. The plot was pretty good for the most part. The characters were very interesting. And the opening was amazing. I love the opening song. The ending song was okay, But that's why if I had to review Kokkoku between A through F, I'm going to give it a solid B. I think that it's a fitting score for it. I don't think it's going to be, the best show of the season. I don't think it's even close to the best show of the season, but it was a good show. And I think I highly enjoyed it for the most part. I mean, I know I highly enjoyed it, but I think I'm not alone. That's what I wanted to say, that in enjoying the show. I think other people enjoyed it too. And even with the somewhat questionable endings, sequences, and in parts of the episodes we've seen so far, it's still been good. What do you guys think about Kokkoku, though, if you've seen it? And what do you think about this week's episode? I would love to know from you in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later. Fate probably will have out tonight, if possibly tomorrow, but I'll try to get to when I can. I'll talk to you guys then. Have a good one, everyone. God bless you all. Until I pass across again next review. Bye-bye, everyone.